Is it really stealing if I already stole it for you? Like Robin Hood, I set out to steal the best mixing secrets from my own game to use on guitars. And like Robin Hood, it's time to share what I stole, including the one secret pros use to get larger-than-life guitar mixes that truly stand out. But I want to warn you, because even though I stole these tricks, you'll now be in possession of some of the most powerful stolen guitar secrets and find yourself on your very own warrant like me. Alright, so let's get real here. Mixing guitars can be a real pain in the neck, and it often feels like putting a square peg in a round hole because of all the frequencies a guitar tone can take up in a mix. But one of the most difficult parts of fitting the guitars into a mix actually takes place at the tracking stage. In fact, it's why guitarists like James Hetfield and Scott Ian are so respected among other players in the guitar community. Their right hand is not only the envy of other guitar players, but producers wish every guitarist that comes through their doors had the same power in their right hand, kind of like Edward Norton in Fight Club.
I am Jack's smirking revenge.
But we all know that not every guitarist can pick with the same force as these legends. And if a guitar player's picking hand isn't powerful enough, that killer riff that they've spent hours perfecting and that breakdown that'll get the crowd ready for that wall of death will fall flat and sound embarrassingly weak. But hold on a sec, because there is some hope. Because the first trick I stole was from Andrew Wade, who's worked with bands like Wage War and A Day to Remember. When Mr. Wade has a performance that needs a little bit of help in the picking range, Wade will use a transient shaper to bring out some of the pick attack in the guitar performance. All you have to do is find the picking frequency range, which is usually around 1 to 3K, and use a transient shaper to bring out that picking attack transient. Now this trick isn't 100% cure for all pathetically picked performances.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
You'll still want the guitarist to pick with the force of 1,000 suns, but if you're mixing that extra 10% in a mix, throw a transient shaper on that guitar DI before the amp or afterwards and see what you can come up with. Now let me ask you, are you ready for a fresh take on a guitar mixing method that is as essential as using an SM57 on a guitar cab and recording? This trick is a modified version of one that I and many audio engineers have stolen or borrowed from Andy Sneap. Like Barney from How I Met Your Mother once said,
"New is always better."
I'm sure by now everyone has heard of the Sneap multiband trick. The one with Wave C4 on guitars set around 250 Hz to control the low-mid buildup that happens when palm mutes are being played. It's a great trick, but personally I could never really get it to sound right for how I mix. The additional movement introduced by the compression could sometimes get weird no matter how much I would adjust the range and release settings. But one day I stumbled across a different style of plugin that works similar to multiband compression, but in my opinion opens up even more possibilities when it comes to guitar tone shaping. Using dynamic EQs like Waves X6 can really help make more transparent EQ cuts pre or post amp and clean up those low mid palm mutes in a cleaner way than the compression, and even bring out more of the chords when they're not even enough in a guitar performance. Now remember at the start of the video when I said this? But you'll also get in on one of the secrets the pros use to get guitars to fit perfectly in a mix. Now this next game-changing trick I stole from my mentor, or again borrowed. When I first started working with my mentor, producer and mixer Bo Burchell, who is also a guitar player, he had an approach to getting the best guitar tones possible that was completely foreign to me when I first saw him doing it in a session. I had never seen or read this approach anywhere. Typically an engineer mics up a guitar cabinet and positions the mic where they want it and is committed to that location until all the takes are recorded for that particular tone. Not Bo, because Bo had one of the best pieces of gear any audio engineer could have in their arsenal, a Dynamount. It's a robotic mic stand that allows you to move the mic in real time to get the desired sound, and you can even make presets for recallability. So Bo would find the right spot for each part of the song for any particular cab amp combination. Bo's focus was getting the best tone from the amp and cab combination for each part of the song. This allowed him to get as close as possible to a done mic'd guitar tone and be able to recall it later thanks to the preset saving in the Dynamount. But since I didn't have a Dynamount or a room full of cabs, I had to find a method for doing this within my DAW. I found that 2Notes Wall of Sound could get me a similar vibe for some time because of its ability to move two different cabinets and mic selections to get similar results. But once I found STO Tone's Libra, I was able to get even more variety with the ability to add up to 8 different IRs and simply move the little virtual mic or dot and get the right tone. Then I just duplicate the instance of the IR loader with the same IRs, do the right insert, and then move the virtual mic around based on the part that I'm in, and then use automation to turn either one on or off based on the selection of the song. But I'm extremely lazy, so over time, I just started printing or committing the tones of each section. And that's the big secret of guitar tones, not being afraid to move the mic based on the section of the song that's being played. Alright, so we talked about some awesome tricks for mixing guitars, but there's one frequency range on guitars that catches more hate than Toby from The Office.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Typically, the solution for dealing with this problematic frequency range on guitars is to grab a surgical EQ and start gutting it like a fish. But with guitars, removing too much of the harsh frequencies and resonant frequencies can quickly go from this to this before you know it. And before you know it, your guitar's become some new out-of-worldly creature you didn't intend to make.
It's alive!
This trick I stole from Andrew Sheps is a great way to not over-rely on using that pesky EQ. Andrew Sheps likes to use a de-esser, like the Waves Renaissance de-esser, in split band in that 2 to 6K region to find the fizziest guitar frequencies and gently massage that range into mix to be less harsh. And another cool way to use a de-esser with guitars is by using another high shelf band de-esser for 6K and above to slightly hit the de-esser, and it allows it to play a little bit nicer with the drum cymbals. And using both can create a powerful duo on guitars like Cap and Bucky fighting Iron Man. Now you know some of the tricks I stole for better guitar mixes, but guitars are just one piece of the puzzle to getting great mixes. And you'll want to watch this video right here for some sneaky tricks the pros use to make mixes that hook listeners. Oh, and one more thing, we just created our new course, The Magical Guide to Referencing, where I go over my referencing process that has helped hundreds of students throughout the years. If that sounds like something you're interested in, you can find a link down in the description.